the universal longing for unshakable calm. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the United States. Let's start by trying something. Close your eyes for just a moment and truly, deeply imagine a different kind of day. Envision a day where the unexpected fender bender doesn't trigger road rage, where a boss's curt email doesn't send you spiraling into self-doubt, where the relentless scroll of social media, filled with perfect lives and manufactured outrage, leaves your inner peace entirely undisturbed. Does that sound like a fantasy, an almost superhuman level of calm reserved for ancient sages or those living entirely off the grid? Well, what if I told you this isn't some mystical, unattainable ideal, but a practical, actionable skill? A way of navigating the relentless currents of modern life without being capsized by every wave. For centuries, humanity has grappled with the question of how to live well, how to find true contentment amidst chaos. And from the heart of the Roman Empire, a voice emerges with a clarity that still resonates today. Epictetus. He was a man who knew hardship intimately, born into slavery, yet who ascended to become one of the most profound and influential philosophers the world has ever known. His teachings, the very essence of Stoicism, offer not just a philosophical framework, but a precise, step-by-step operating manual for cultivating an unshakable mind. Today, our journey together will uncover Epictetus's most revolutionary concept, the radical idea that you can, indeed, truly act as if nothing bothers you. This isn't about becoming an emotionless robot or ignoring genuine suffering. Far from it. It's about discerning what is truly yours to control and what isn't. It's about building an inner fortress of resilience so formidable that external storms, no matter how fierce, simply cannot penetrate your core serenity. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to systematically break down the complexities of human disturbance through the lens of Epictetus. We'll explore his core principles, delve into real-world examples that hit close to home for anyone living in the United States, and equip you with powerful, actionable strategies to cultivate this incredible, liberating power in your own life. Get ready to transform your relationship with everything that used to bother you. The Master Key, the Dichotomy of Control, unpacking Epictetus's foundational truth. To begin our deep dive, we must first lay the bedrock of Stoic wisdom. Epictetus begins his essential guide, the Enchiridion, with a statement so deceptively simple, yet so profoundly impactful, that it bears repeating and meditating upon. Some things are within our control, while others are not. This isn't merely a philosophical abstraction. It is the fundamental blueprint for achieving genuine inner peace and becoming truly unbothered. Let's dissect this. What exactly is truly within your power? Consider it carefully. It's not your physical body, which is susceptible to illness, aging, or injury. It's not your material possessions, which can be lost, stolen, or broken. It's certainly not your reputation, which exists solely in the minds of others and can shift on a whim. And, emphatically, it's not the external circumstances of life, the weather, the economy, political events, the actions and opinions of other people, or even the unchangeable past and the uncertain future. These are what Epictetus terms externals. They are largely beyond your direct, moment-to-moment influence. We can act in the world? Yes, but the outcome of those actions often rests outside our direct command. Now, contrast that with what is always, unequivocally, absolutely within your domain. This is your personal, sovereign territory, your judgments, your opinions, your desires, your aversions, and your impulses. In essence, your internal responses, your thoughts, your beliefs, your values, and the conscious choices you make based on those. This is your inner world, your consciousness. This is where your true power resides, the only realm where you possess absolute and unassailable freedom. Here's where Epictetus delivers the knockout blow, the profound insight that unlocks the unbothered state. If you think that only what is your own, and what is not your own, as not your own. No one will ever be able to compel you. No one will hinder you. You will do nothing against your will. You will accuse no one. You will blame no one. And you will suffer harm from no one. The vast majority of our suffering, our distress, our feeling of being bothered, doesn't originate from external events themselves. It stems from two primary sources. First, our futile attempt to control what is uncontrollable, and second, our erroneous judgments or interpretations of those externals. Think about sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on a busy freeway like the I-5 in California. The objective reality is simply that cars are moving slowly. Your frustration, your anger, your feeling of being bothered isn't caused by the traffic itself. It's caused by your judgment that this traffic is an intolerable inconvenience, that it's bad, or that it unjustly delays you. Or consider receiving a rude email from a colleague. The email itself is just text. The sting, the hurt, the feeling of being bothered arises from your interpretation of that email as an attack on your competence or worth. This distinction, this simple yet profound separation of what you can and cannot control, is the very first and most crucial step towards cultivating an unshakable mind. It forces you to pause and honestly assess, is this truly something I can affect right now? Or is my precious energy and mental peace better invested in managing my internal response? This foundational understanding is your master key to freedom, the power of perception, mastering your inner narrative and interrogating impression since you've fully absorbed the dichotomy of control. The next layer of Epictetus's wisdom reveals the immense, often underestimated, power of your perception and judgment. He taught that our minds are constantly being fed impressions, raw, unfiltered data from the world. A sudden loud noise, a news alert on your phone, a friend sharing a critique. These are merely impressions, neutral in themselves. The truly critical moment, the pivot point where your peace is either maintained or shattered, occurs right after that impression. What happens next? Do you immediately, instinctively, and often unconsciously, affix a judgment to that impression? Do you label it good or bad, fair or unfair, threatening or desirable? This immediate, unchecked leap from a neutral impression to an emotional judgment is precisely where we surrender our tranquility. Epictetus's revolutionary advice here is deceptively simple. Don't immediately assent to every impression. Instead, create a deliberate pause, a microsecond of space between the impression and your reaction. In that pause, you must learn to interrogate your perceptions. Ask yourself crucial questions. Is this impression truly what it seems? Or am I adding my own emotional baggage to it? Am I projecting a negative outcome that hasn't even occurred? Am I letting an external event, over which I have no control, dictate my internal state and peace of mind? This pause, this conscious moment of reflection, is your ultimate superpower. It is the sacred space between stimulus and response where your freedom, your dignity, and your peace truly reside. Let's ground this with a concrete, everyday scenario. Imagine you're stuck in rush hour traffic, not just for a few minutes, but for an hour, and you're already late for an important appointment. The raw impression is simply, cars are not moving. Your immediate, conditioned judgment might be, this is absolutely terrible. My day is ruined. I'm going to miss my meeting, and it's completely unfair. These judgments rapidly lead to a spiraling sense of frustration, anger, and feeling utterly bothered. A Stoic, having cultivated the habit of applying Epictetus's teaching, would utilize that pause. They would internally separate the external reality traffic is stationary from their internal judgment, this is terrible. They might then actively refrain, the traffic isn't external. I cannot change it. What can I change? My response. This is an unexpected opportunity. I can use this time to listen to that podcast I've been meaning to get to, practice a breathing exercise, or simply appreciate the quiet moment. My peace is not dependent on traffic flow. The objective reality of the traffic hasn't changed, but your internal experience of it, and your capacity to act as if it doesn't bother you, has been profoundly transformed. Epictetus further refined this understanding by distinguishing between true goods and evils and indifference. He asserted that true goods and evils reside only in our will and our actions, that is, in our virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, temperance, and our vices. External things like health, wealth, social status, or even life itself, he called indifference. We often mistakenly chase these indifferents as if they are the ultimate source of happiness, and when we don't attain them, or when we inevitably lose them, we become profoundly bothered. But they are merely tools, neutral in themselves. Your feeling of being bothered by a sudden job layoff, for instance, isn't primarily about the job an external and an indifferent. It's about your internal judgment that this event signifies personal failure, or that your security and self-worth are intrinsically tied to that specific role. By systematically detaching your core inner peace from these indifferents, you become incredibly robust and powerful, immune to the fluctuating fortunes of the external world. The universal longing for unshakable calm good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the United States. Let's start by trying something. Close your eyes for just a moment and truly, deeply imagine a different kind of day. Envision a day where the unexpected fender bender doesn't trigger road rage, where a boss's curt email doesn't send you spiraling into self-doubt, where the relentless scroll of social media, filled with perfect lives and manufactured outrage, leaves your inner peace entirely undisturbed. Does that sound like a fantasy, an almost superhuman level of calm reserved for ancient sages or those living entirely off the grid? Well, what if I told you this isn't some mystical, unattainable ideal, but a practical, actionable skill? A way of navigating the relentless currents of modern life without being capsized by every wave. For centuries, humanity has grappled with the question of how to live well, how to find true contentment amidst chaos. And from the heart of the Roman Empire, a voice emerges with a clarity that still resonates today. Epictetus, he was a man who knew hardship intimately, born into slavery, yet who ascended to become one of the most profound and influential philosophers the world has ever known. His teachings, the very essence of Stoicism, offer not just a philosophical framework, but a precise, step-by-step operating manual for cultivating an unshakable mind, the practice of acceptance, embracing what is, amor fati, and the premeditation of evil since you've diligently separated what's within your control from what's not, and trained yourself to interrogate your judgments. The next profound, and perhaps most liberating, step in Stoic practice is radical acceptance. This is not a passive, resigned surrender to fate. It is an active, even joyful, embracing of reality as it is, precisely because it is. This is the essence of amor fati, a Latin phrase meaning love of fate. It's about not just tolerating what happens, but actively embracing it as part of the unfolding tapestry of life, recognizing that everything that occurs is, in some way, an opportunity for you to practice virtue and resilience. Epictetus encourages us to align ourselves with the flow of nature, with the inherent order and unfolding of the universe. To resist what is beyond your control, he would say, is like a dog tied to a moving cart. It can strain and resist with all its might, barking and struggling, but it will still be dragged along anyway, only now exhausted and miserable. How much wiser, he suggests, to walk willingly alongside the cart, accepting the journey, and preserving your energy for where you do have agency. A cornerstone Stoic exercise for cultivating this deep acceptance is premeditatio malorum, literally, the premeditation of evils or negative visualization. This sounds grim, even pessimistic, but it is, in fact, an immensely liberating and anxiety-reducing practice. You deliberately spend time contemplating potential difficulties and misfortunes. What if I lose my job? What if I face a significant health challenge? What if a cherished relationship ends? What if a natural disaster strikes my home? This isn't about inviting bad things into your life or dwelling in negativity. It's about mentally preparing yourself for them. By vividly considering these possibilities in advance, you achieve several critical outcomes. You strip them of their power to shock and destabilize you if or when they actually occur. You realize that your deepest peace and integrity are not dependent on these external circumstances. And most importantly, you recognize that your inner resources, your courage, your wisdom, your patience, are far greater than you ever imagined. You build confidence not in external security, but in your ability to endure. In our highly comfort-seeking modern society, where convenience is often prioritized above all else, Epictetus would offer a profound challenge. He passionately advocated for voluntary discomfort. Take a cold shower each morning. Choose to walk or bike instead of driving for short distances. Practice periods of fasting or intentional silence. Why? Not for suffering's sake, but to deliberately demonstrate to yourself that your happiness is not contingent upon external comforts, that you can withstand minor inconveniences and even significant discomforts without feeling bothered. It builds an incredible mental fortitude and resilience, much like a weightlifter builds muscle by deliberately placing stress on their body. Every time you consciously choose acceptance over resistance, every time you deliberately reframe a perceived negative, you are performing a mental rep. You are strengthening your inner stoic muscle, making it easier and more automatic the next time a challenge arises. This isn't a magical, one-time fix. It's a continuous, deliberate practice, a lifelong commitment to training your mind. Just as an athlete trains their body. Daily application. How to live Epictetus' wisdom in your modern American life. So, how do we integrate these profound, ancient ideas into the relentless pace and unique challenges of modern American life? Here are concrete, actionable strategies you can begin implementing today to genuinely cultivate the state of acting as if nothing bothers you. That is this: an external filter, your immediate stopgap. This becomes your primary, go-to defense mechanism. Before you allow yourself to react emotionally to anything, a frustrating email, a critical comment from a family member, a technical glitch, a sudden change of plans, pause for a beat and ask yourself, is this event, this situation, this person's behavior truly within my direct, immediate control right now? If your honest answer is no, then immediately shift your focus. Your energy and mental peace are now best invested in what is within your control. Your response, your judgment, and your next virtuous action. Practice indifference to indifference, the art of not caring about what doesn't matter. Your flight gets delayed by 3 hours, throwing off your whole schedule. This is an inconvenience, and indifferent. It doesn't mean the universe is conspiring against you. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It simply is. Instead of fuming, pacing, or complaining, to anyone who will listen, consciously choose to treat it as neutral. What can you do? Use that unexpected time to read that book you've been meaning to start, catch up on emails, practice a breathing exercise, or simply observe the airport without judgment. Don't layer additional emotional distress onto a fundamentally neutral event. The view from above, gaining perspective on the grand stage. When you find yourself getting intensely bothered, consumed by a problem, or an annoyance, try to gain some perspective. Imagine yourself physically rising above the situation, looking down from a great height, from the ceiling, from the sky, from orbit. How significant is this particular problem in the grand scheme of your entire life? How much less significant does it seem when viewed against the backdrop of the entire planet, or the vastness of the universe? This cosmic perspective can immediately shrink even seemingly monumental problems into their true, often much smaller, proportions. Embrace mindful awareness, the power of the present moment. A significant portion of what bothers us stems from either ruminating on past regrets or anxieties about an uncertain future. Epictetus, much like many other wisdom traditions, profoundly emphasizes the power of presence. When you are fully and completely engaged in the task at hand, whether it's washing dishes, working on a complex report, having a deep conversation with a friend, or simply taking a walk, there is no mental space for external distractions or worries to take root and bother you. Your mind is fully occupied by the now. Practice being exactly where your feet are. In this moment, focus on your duties, virtue in action, your unassailable inner compass, instead of allowing yourself to be bothered by a challenging co-workers, difficult personality, or demanding client's unreasonable requests. Shift your focus. What is within your control here? Your own actions and character. What is your duty in this situation? According to your highest values, to be professional, to be patient, to communicate clearly and kindly, to do your best work, regardless of external provocations. Your true peace comes from acting in alignment with your virtues, regardless of the external circumstances or how others behave. The power of journaling, daily self-auditing for Stoic growth. At the end of each day, dedicate just 5 to 10 minutes to self-reflection. In a journal, write down what genuinely bothered you throughout the day. Then, systematically analyze each instance through Epictetus's lens. What was the external event? What was your initial, perhaps unhelpful, judgment or emotional reaction? How could you have applied the dichotomy of control? How could you have reframed your perception or practiced acceptance in that moment? This consistent, conscious self-auditing builds incredible self-awareness and powerfully reinforces the Stoic principles, turning theory into lived experience. The profound impact. Why this is so powerful. The unveiling of true power when you begin to consistently, diligently, and patiently apply these profound principles. The transformation in your life can be nothing short of breathtaking. This isn't merely about developing a thick skin or not being bothered. It's about a fundamental, liberating shift in your power dynamic and your entire experience of the world. Firstly, you reclaim your freedom and autonomy. The vast majority of people live as slaves to external circumstances, to what others say or think about them, to the relentless dictates of the latest news cycle or popular opinion. When you truly grasp that your peace, your worth, and your emotional stability are internally generated and not dependent on anything outside yourself, you become truly autonomous. No one can compel you to be upset. No one can truly harm your inner self. This understanding is the ultimate liberation. Secondly, you develop unshakable resilience. Life, by its very nature, will always throw curveballs, illness, financial setbacks, relationship challenges, professional disappointments. These are not possibilities. They are inevitabilities, but with Epictetus's wisdom deeply ingrained, these are no longer viewed as catastrophes designed to break you. Instead, they become potent opportunities to practice your Stoic principles, to demonstrate your profound inner strength, and to grow into a more robust version of yourself. You learn to bend, to adapt, but you never fundamentally break. Thirdly, you begin to make clearer, more rational decisions. When your mind is not emotionally hijacked by every minor setback, every provocation, or every perceived slight, it remains clear, calm, and capable of objective analysis. You can weigh options rationally, respond strategically, and act in accordance with your values, rather than reacting impulsively from a place of emotional distress. This leads to far more effective and aligned actions in every area of your life. Fourthly, you cultivate a deeper, more abiding sense of peace and contentment. This is not the fleeting happiness that comes from external highs, a new purchase, a compliment, a temporary success. Instead, it is a stable, enduring inner calm. It's a contentment that stems from knowing you are living in accordance with reason and virtue, acting with integrity, regardless of what the unpredictable world throws your way. This peace is your constant companion, an inner sanctuary no one can take from you. Finally, and beautifully, you become a powerful positive influence on others. When people observe your calm demeanor in the face of adversity, your measured responses to provocation, your steadfastness amidst chaos. It inspires them. Your tranquility can be contagious, encouraging those around you to seek the same inner fortress. In an increasingly anxious and reactive world, you become a beacon of stability, demonstrating a powerful alternative way of being. Remember, and this is crucial, this is a continuous practice. There will be days when you forget, moments when you slip, and times when you genuinely get profoundly bothered. That's perfectly human. The goal is not instant perfection, but persistent progress. The key is to acknowledge the slip without judgment, learn from it, and gently, patiently return to the principles with renewed determination. Each perceived failure is simply another invaluable opportunity to practice, to grow, and to reinforce your commitment to an unbothered life. Conclusion: your invitation to an unshaken life. The power within us we draw this deep exploration. To a close, I extend a heartfelt invitation. Commit to embodying the timeless, liberating wisdom of Epictetus and truly learn to act as if nothing bothers you. It all begins and ends with these three core, interconnected pillars. Know what is truly within your control, relentlessly distinguishing your thoughts, judgments, and actions from everything external to you. Master your perceptions, cultivating that crucial pause, interrogating every impression, and actively reframing externals to strip them of their power. Practice radical acceptance, embracing what is, not just tolerating it, but loving your fate amor fati, and proactively preparing your mind for life's inevitable challenges through premeditatio malo, Don single quotes to wait for a major crisis, a devastating setback, or a life-altering event to begin. This transformative practice, start small, right now. Today, identify just one small thing that typically frustrates or bothers you. Perhaps a rude driver cutting you off, a long hold time on a customer service call, a critical comment on social media, or a minor technological glitch. And for that one instance, consciously and deliberately apply these principles. Observe your initial reaction, question your judgment, and then choose your response, a stoic, unbothered response. The world outside will continue to be as unpredictable, chaotic, and challenging as it always has been. That is a given. But your inner world, that, my friend, can become an impregnable sanctuary of peace, an unshakable fortress of calm, a powerful and living testament to the truly liberating wisdom of Epictetus. Your journey to an unshaken, unbothered life begins now. Embrace it, and unlock the immense, profound power that lies waiting within you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it inspiring, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing it with others. Don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated on future content. Together, we can continue to grow and strive for greatness.